In terms of correspondence, did anybody want to remove any? Councillor Dunstall?
Yes, thank you, through Mayor. I want to remove 12.3, Citizens for Safe Groundwater Letter to Council.
You may speak to that.
Thank you. This is obviously a very important issue, and it's an issue that I hear from my constituents all the time. When we entered, we had talked about this gentleman's agreement, and I know that that terminology is old terminology, but my understanding of a gentleman's agreement has always been that I'm giving you my word, you trust me, and I'm going to trust you. And we have recently found out that that's not necessarily the case, that the region has been taking water without permission, without asking. And I understand that the gentleman's agreement was not a policy or a bylaw or anything that was binding, but it was something that we trusted the region was going to keep their word. And at this point right now, they haven't. And that makes me very anxious. And Mayor, I know that you fight for us at all of those meetings. I see you. But I also know that out of 15 people, you're one voice, and there are 11 urban voices sitting at that table. And they're growing, and they want our water. And so I would like to put through a motion. Now, I originally had wanted to say, and I'm going to read it here, that we wanted to not just receive it, but refer the correspondence to the regional clerk and regional council as a formal objection from the Township of Wilmot. And but I was told that we cannot refer something to the region. We cannot force them. However, I do want to have a motion put forward, and I want it to be as strong as possible with the restraints that we have here, that the correspondence go to the region, and that the region puts it on their agenda. I'm just going to put it out there. I know I'm not supposed to, but I'm just going to put it out there. Going to put it on their agenda so that our people can address. There's new information out there. We already know that we don't have all the information, and you're fighting like heck out there. So I just think that this council should stand up with you and say, yeah, you know what? You didn't keep your word, so now we're on guard. So, you know, we want to make sure that we have more insight into what's happening. And I don't know what the wording is going to be on that. And, Clerk, I depend on you for your wisdom to give me guidance. But I'd like to hear my other councillors on this too, please.
Okay. I will give the clerk a minute, I believe, while she gets some wording there for you. Councillor Sadhu on this item.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, let's not dress this up. This is a breakdown of trust. Does it surprise me? No, not necessarily. I mean, yes, the region, the provinces have jurisdiction over the water, but having jurisdiction over it doesn't mean secrecy. Our residents expect us to know what's going on in our backyards, and right now we've been put in a position by the region that we don't know what's going on. The fact that since 2019 they've increased capacity and started taking more water without our knowledge, that's just not acceptable. So I'm on board with Councillor Dunstall. We need to send a strong message to the region that we're just not going to lay over and take it. You can't just keep pumping one of our best resources, water. It's not an infinite supply. And yes, I understand they want growth. That's fine. No one's arguing that. But you don't go back on your word. And it's going to take a lot for me personally to regain the region's trust after this.
Councillor Martin.
Through you, Mayor Sallin, and I would certainly support. I'm not sure what the wording is going to be yet, but we could simply put forward the letter from Citizens for Safe Groundwater, or I'd be in favor of something that might be broader, saying that Wilmot Township, the Council of Wilmot Township has concerns, and we would like the region to listen to our concerns, and we feel like we need to protect our water. Something along that line. I don't know.
Okay. Councillor Wilkinson.
Through the chair, I completely agree with everything that my colleagues have said here. I think at the end of the day, we had an agreement that was supposed to be in place and respected. We tried to be good neighbors roughly a month or two ago and say, you know what, for the sake of assisting, we could maybe suspend this for a year or so. However, I mean, with the new details that have come to light, and I'm hearing from some of the residents in my ward that are even further outside of the Shingletown and Manheim area, where they're seeing some wells collapsing and having to potentially dig deeper. So, the long-term effects of this could be devastating to our citizens and the folks that rely on those wells or the aquifer for their drinking water. So I would be in agreement, maybe refers the wrong word to send this letter, but essentially I would suggest that we forward this to them and add our comments that as a council and as citizens that are fighting for the folks that live in Wilmot, that this cannot continue. We need to have respect here, and we need to make sure that their wells are not affected just for the sake of potentially encouraging more growth in the short term. So, while we want to help and support, we need to make sure that we're not hurting our citizens directly at this time. So I'm in favor of what we're discussing here.
Councillor Cressman, I saw you came off mute. Did you want to add to the conversation?
Well, I think my fellow councillors have spoken, and I certainly as well have received at least 3 calls this last couple of days. Some residents have drilled new wells out of their own pocket. I think what really concerns me is we have monitoring wells scattered across our township, and that information is not shared with us. And so we're operating blind in terms of the impact of the pumping, in terms of water taken out of our township for the needs of the greater region. So I think I would strongly suggest that monitoring well information is public knowledge that should be supplied to this township on a continuing basis so we can assess the impact as well. And if we need interpretation of that impact, that we can seek hydrogeologists that would supply that. But I just find they've got that information and we have been blocked from seeing it. And so I really object to that, because that's the smoking gun that is going to be the definitive proof that wells have been impacted and there is liability here on the region's behalf.
Thank you, Councillor. I will just add in a few things. Just in terms of terminology, I know the phrase agreement has been thrown around a lot. I have yet to see an actual agreement. However, there is actually a Region of Waterloo motion that was passed that still stands. Because it has never been reconsidered. It was amended, but it still stands from 1980, and then it was amended in 1984. And that does have a cap on how much water the region is allowed to pump out of Wilmot. That has been violated. That was unfortunately made clear through further questioning, in addition to the motion I brought forward in spirit of what this council had asked. And that motion still has yet to be passed. It's been deferred again to Wednesday's meeting. I can't predict the outcome, but I'm pretty confident it's going to be deferred again because staff have not, regional staff, this is to be clear, have not provided the aquifer information yet. And a lot of us, myself included, want to understand the health of the aquifer before making long-term implications to our water resources, especially in light of further information that has anecdotally been provided by residents, tied to the fact that a lot since 2019 has happened to a lot of wells in that area, which is conveniently when staff started pumping this water out and using it in their system. So just in terms of from the regional perspective, I'm definitely in support of whatever you want to provide, because that helps me with my other, to your point, 15 votes around the table. Same to residents who are interested in this issue. I know that you guys are already advocating very heavily, but again, if you have had well interference or believed well interference from the region, please do report it to the region. It's through calling their direct regional helpline is the first step into reporting. Sorry that it's not an easier process. That is the one that currently exists, though. And please do continue to reach out to regional council and come delegate at regional council. In terms of language, though, for right now, because I appreciate we're veering off of Wilmot specific, what is in our authority and jurisdiction, I would just look to the clerk if she has her wording there. But no, this is absolutely something that matters. The other thing I'd also note, it's not necessarily a Wilmot versus the region thing. One, water take permits are with the province, so there's that. But two, we do also belong to the region, so the region should have everybody's best interests in mind, which includes the impacted residents around these wells and not just the areas that they want to grow. And water is a finite resource, as we know. But I would look to the clerk for language on what Councillor Dunstall wanted to propose.
Through you, Mayor, to Council, I first just want to make note and remind Council of a motion that was passed at the February 9th special Council meeting in regards to expressing concerns, and that motion was shared with Regional Council, so I just thought maybe there'd be a tie-in with that. So in regards to what Councillor Dunstall is looking for, that Council first received this correspondence, Citizens for Safe Groundwater, item 12.3, and that Council requests that the region consider the correspondence and the Township's concerns as previously recorded in Township Resolution number 2026-27, and that this resolution, together with the correspondence, be sent to the attention of Regional Council for inclusion on a Regional Council agenda.
Thank you. Can we also add the language that Councillor Cressman had asked that we get the information that we are currently not getting, and that it's made public? And I don't remember your wording, Councillor Cressman, but I think that that's very important. The more information our public has, the more information we have, the more transparency that we build in, you know, hopefully we can avoid any further instances of information being held from us.
The clerk is just adding that. Councillor Martin.
Through you, Mayor Salonen, I wonder if another possibility would be to simply follow up on the motion. As Clerk Jagger has reminded us, we have that motion that we put forward to the region in February. Could we ask for a response? Or, you know, what could we say that would be in addition to what we've already said to them?
We can ask for a response when conversing with an upper level of government, though it is up to their discretion should they choose to provide one. But not saying that we can't ask for it, just expectation setting. I'll turn it over to the clerk again.
Through you, Mayor, to Council, so I just added a line that says, and that Council requests that the region make the well monitoring data publicly available.
Fine. Oh yeah, okay, great. Thank you.
Is there a seconder for this motion? Seconded by Councillor Sadhu. Any other comments or discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor, and that carries unanimously. Were there any other correspondence items? Okay, seeing none.